Hello, everybody. We're almost on time for the stream, and I'm going to slowly start. Okay. I hope everybody is doing all right. So on the stream for today, what I want to do is I want to go a little bit into more detail about the research folder in Scrivener. So when we talked about Scrivener, remind me later. When I talked about Scrivener, I told you that Scrivener allows you to divide your writing project into the draft, where you do the actual writing, and then into the research folder. And the difference is that the writing folder only accepts text. In the research folder, you can put anything, including text. Okay. So what I thought I would do is I would walk you through the research folder on the current paper that I am working on this week, and then I'll show you the research folder of a paper that that took me 5 years to publish, 3 rounds of revise and resubmit, and it was a paper that I wrote early in my career where I was still learning. So I was using, I would say, a lot of things to think with to help me through the paper. Okay. Now this paper is revise and resubmit from a literature review, and I joined the paper after my 2 co-authors wrote the first version. So there's you won't see any data or any of the mechanics of the literature review in my research folder, because I didn't really do any of it. Okay. So this research folder basically has everything that for me has to be in a research folder, and then I'll show you what you can add. Okay. So for me, the research folder in any paper has begins with a set of notes, and each note matches a part of my draft. Okay, so there's a set of notes for the introduction, a set of notes for the theory, a set of notes for the methods, a set of notes for the review section, a set of notes for the discussion, and a set of notes for the conclusion. Okay. On each of these notes, I basically have, let me see if I have anything ongoing. So yeah, I have this one ongoing. Okay, so I basically have it's divided in 3 parts. First, there is something that I either call important or to do. These are thoughts and ideas or comments from reviewers that I need to address when writing the paper, and these can be very long. So as you can see, this is relatively long. Then there is typically an outline. This one is all crossed out because I've actually finished working on it. Okay. And after the outline, there's always an archive. And basically the archive has, all old outlines, old notes, and so on and so forth, that I just, I keep because, maybe I want to check something out in the past, a little bit, perhaps more because of paranoia than an actual need. But, it is there, right? So that's what's in every single of my notes. Obviously, for example, the method section, I'm not writing it. It's my co-authors who are working on it, so I don't have the outline, but I do have a little to-do that I have to check. Introduction, I just have the outline. And remote work, I also have outline and I have to do. So always this structure. Okay, so that's the notes. Then I have all of my previous manuscripts, and a previous manuscript is basically a folder that has all of the text sections of past papers. Okay, so you can see here all of them. Okay. Now what this does is, for example, when I was writing, because this is a revision, when I'm writing the theory, right, I want my so let's say when I'm writing the introduction, right, I want to have my introduction notes, right, my outline, to know what I'm going to write. But then, let me just clean this up. But then I also want to have the introduction of the previous paper, because, there will be some things that are similar, right? So I can open in copy holder and move it out. Actually, sorry. So this is what I want, the introduction. I want to do it as I'll open in a copy holder and move it out. Okay, so these are my notes. This is the previous introduction, and this is what I'm writing here, right? So if I then close this, hide the binder, and I move here, I have a very nice sort of like a 3-window layout where I have the previous text of the introduction. I have now my new outline, and I can write from there. Okay, so that's why I keep all of my previous manuscripts. I keep conference submissions separately. Conference submissions, are here. Just I'd say as to track what I have done for backup. They're not really something that I use when I'm writing, but that's okay. I just keep them there. Then reviews, obviously these are important, right? Because for example, right now I'm working on this review, and this is the review letter, right? Now, something that I do to dealing with reviews is I just write some review notes. Okay, so that's in my notes, little notes folder. Just because this helps me organize the feedback from the reviewers and the editor into things that into a numbered list of items that I have to address. Okay, and finally, and very importantly, we have the graveyard. And the graveyard is where I keep sections that I wrote in the past that I think have some interesting ideas, but that have had to be massively rewritten. Okay, and sometimes, especially in empirical pieces, this section can then be used to write a theory piece for a smaller journal. Okay, and to show you that, what I'll do is I'll now move into another paper, which is a paper that is already finished. It's an empirical piece that that I wrote and published in a MS Quarterly. Okay, so I'll close this window and go there. Okay, so this is the piece. As you see, I don't have a draft anymore because the paper is published. So on the previous drafts, I have all of my submitted manuscripts with everything: theory, methods, results, discussion, and the letters to the reviewers and the editor. And you can see in this paper, I really divided the sections a lot more. This is an old piece, so I was still getting comfortable with Siebel. With Siebel, sorry, with Scrivener. Siebel is this piece is about Siebel. So I was just getting comfortable with Scrivener, so and was developing as a writer. So now I think it's better. So it has all my previous drafts, all of the reviews from the journal. I do have a folder with data, right? So when I was writing the results section, I sometimes needed to work on the data, and I have it here, color coded and so on. So I can you can actually do the back end of the analysis on Scrivener if you want. That's what I did here. I have also some theses that some of my students did from this data. I have the quotes that I selected for each part of the paper. So really a lot of data here that I did use when writing the results section. Then I have the data. Once I decided how to write the paper, I needed to aggregate the data by level, hierarchical level. So this is what I did. So you have all of the data aggregated here, okay? And this sort of allows me to, when I'm writing the paper, this allows me to pick directly my favorite quotes from here. I also keep reading notes of the papers that I read, okay? Now, at this stage, I just keep one document with reading notes, but you see here, I just had reading notes for each paper, okay? I was far more insecure, obviously, as a writer here, so you see that there's a lot more procedure because a procedure is comfortable and it gives you a sense of control, okay? So I keep reading notes as well. I kept some papers for the discussion that I thought were interesting, okay? And again, the idea is not just to keep an archive here, right? The idea is that, you know, I'm writing the discussion, right? So I'm writing the discussion here, and I can check this, you know, let me check how they wrote, for example, the discussion in this paper, right? Or I'm doing the notes for the discussion. Let me see how the notes for this paper were, the discussion for this paper was written, right? So super useful to have this here. Then I have the submitted manuscripts. That's just because it feels nice. It's a sense of accomplishment. So this is the last version which was accepted. So very nice. I keep mind maps here. This I used to. This was before Scapel, so I showed you Scapel during this week. One of the lunchtime chats that we had. Before Scapel, I used this software called Poplet, which was a relatively easy way to mind map without using mind mapping software that forces you into the core periphery sort of structure. And then here are the graveyards, okay? And this graveyard here, because I was thinking so much about this paper. This mixes previous texts, but also previous ideas that, you know, were never used in the paper. Okay, so and you can see like I have, you know, I have the corkboard, previous corkboards from Scrivener that summarize the paper, outlines, bits of the theory section, bits of the discussion section, bits of the data, some thoughts about the outline that, you know, this actually ended up giving me an idea for my second MS quarterly paper, you know, handwritten notes that I made, outlines written in paper. So are just like, you know, things about resistance. So just going a lot to this more traditional mind mapping tool. So going a lot through different resources to think about the paper. Okay, that, you know, I thought were interesting. Okay, and this one actually is the basis for another paper, which is this paper on transfiguration work. I actually drew it from this, and the way I came up with that idea is when I was working through that data, I went to see the graveyard of this paper, and I came across this and thought this was interesting. So transcription is there in that paper. Okay, and I do that for all of the papers, you know, and there's you know, theory sections that could be interesting, you know, just a lot of stuff here. Okay, so you can really use it as a repository of ideas as well. Okay, so very free form. Again, if I'd say, you know, what are the things that should be there? You should have a notes section. you should have a data section if you're doing an empirical paper, and you should have a reading notes section, okay? Then as the paper progresses, definitely reviews and previews, manuscripts that you can refer to, and a graveyard where you don't keep everything, right? Because that's what snapshots are for. You keep things that are so good that maybe sources for future papers or future ideas. Okay, so let me just see if we had some questions in chat. We do not. So I'll just wrap up the video and say thanks everybody for watching. Because Twitch is, deletes videos that, are stored on the platform, I just started a new YouTube channel where all of my videos are kept, and that YouTube channel is I posted it on all of my social networks, and you can find it there as well. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. I hope this was useful and enjoyable, and I'll catch you during the week for the lunchtime writing chats. Thanks so much.